Okay, so hello and welcome. Yesterday I went, no, what's today? Tuesday. Sunday, I went out to brunch with some girlfriends. And this is a group of friends that we have been praying together. We all have so many things happening in our life. And this was just an opportunity for us to just kind of like get together and just have time. So we did that. And as we're talking and just sharing, me and a few other people, we've decided, how they say the word of the year. My word of the year this year is transparency. So what we were talking about, honestly, was like being a wife, being a mom, but like what I call like just being a moody mama. And this is something that I struggle with. Whether we know it or not, as wives, as mothers, we set the tone for our home. Like that, the way we are. I know y'all have heard of like the phrases like happy wife, happy life. If mama ain't happy, nobody's happy. That kind of thing. But it's true. We have a gift for setting the tone when we are in our homes. And sometimes we can be so much to so many other people, and then when we're home, they're not getting the best of us. And an example of this was on Sunday, getting ready for church, and I'm having like all of the internal things happening. I can't find anything to wear, and this and that, how that just kind of like snowballs into other things. My son hadn't brushed his teeth yet, and so I'm like, you need to brush your teeth. And in my mind, this is coming from like, I'm not mad at him, but it's just I'm already having this whole thing going on in my mind. And so when I asked him to brush his teeth, it came out some kind of way. And he goes, but why are you mad at me? And at that point, my face fell off. It was on the floor for a minute. And I had that thought to myself, like, wow, like, how am I coming across? And why am I coming across that way? What is really happening right now that necessitates that level of just like what necessitates that? Nothing really, because it is what it is. Hold on, I need some coffee. And if you're single and watching this, you need to be, because I remember being single for a long time, and just like in my mind, when I thought about marriage and I thought about family outside of like just me and Kiara, which we were for many years, but like what it was going to be after that, in my mind it was like I'm just going to be so perfect, and it's going to be perfect, and we're going to giggle all the time, and home life is going to be perfect. And I don't know that there was anything in my mind that just really thought that it was going to be anything other than perfect, because this is what I've been praying for. This is what I've been waiting for. And so if you are single, I want to encourage you that it is wonderful to be married. It is amazing to be a mother. It is not perfect, and you will not be perfect. And start almost like preparing your heart now, because one day you may be married and something may happen, and I want you to remember that I told you, listen, remember, it's not perfect. Just take it down a notch or two. It's going to be all right. Why do we just get into that like mom mood? One reason is that we do have, like for me, if you're a planner, and things begin to go contrary to the plan, that right in and of itself just throws everything off, right? And so if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get up at this time and this is gonna happen, and I always have more things on the list to get done than really I should. And so when that begins to unravel, when that's not happening, then it's like in myself, I'm like, feeling like I'm not measuring up, or feeling like, oh my goodness, I'm failing. And so then all of that kind of like spills over onto me being frustrated. We have these expectations on people that they have no idea probably. And also like, why should they be so concerned? The kids just want to play, they want to eat, they want to nap, they want to soil the diaper, and they want to be loved, and whether or not every single ounce of dirt and speck of dirt is cleaned up every day, and whether or not all of the laundry has been folded in the KonMari method and is sitting up in the drawers, like they don't really, they're not thriving on that. They're thriving off of a mom who's present. They're thriving off of a mom who's joyful, who's happy, who can laugh over spilled milk. That is what they're going to carry through. And so, yes, a clean home. I love a clean home. I love me some Marie Kondo. I love all of that, but it has to be balanced. It has to have its place. And so one way that we can get over like this like frustration and is to take the undue pressure off of ourselves. Take the pressure off of yourself. But give yourself grace that it may not happen tomorrow, and if it doesn't, you're okay. You're not a horrible mom, you're not a horrible wife, and we move forward. The second part is what I just alluded to, which is grace. We get grace every day from God, and sometimes we don't extend that grace onto others. And so extending grace onto our kids. Maybe you've said stop running 8,623 times. And maybe they are still running. And maybe it's after they fell and busted their lip and they're still running. Because I'm just telling you what happens in my house, you know. But how do we find a way to communicate those things without like losing it? You know, it doesn't have to be at this level all the time. And they'll feed off of this level. You know, and so sometimes if we find that our families are like here, then we can say, well, why is that? Is it because I'm always here? Maybe I need to try and be here. The other thing, don't kill me for this, and I'm just being honest, social media comparisons. We're looking at people who are just like giving us a snapshot of what their life is like, and then when that's not happening in our lives, that builds that frustration. But we have to understand that for many people who we follow, and they're amazing people, you know, that's not how the 24/7 goes. And so we just need to have a little bit of, just need to be a little realistic with that and know that, you know, what everyone is showing is not necessarily how it is all the time. The other thing is we need to get refilled. A lot of times, especially with our family, by the time we get home, and this is what I have experienced for a while, because living in New Jersey, going to work in New York every day, after a whole day of just being in the throes of work and commutes and all of that, and then we get home and it's like, what do I have, you know? And it's very easy to just be kind of like, you know, when we get to that time. And so how do we refill ourselves? How do we take a minute? And so it is in taking those moments, but it's also if you are not having daily communion with the Lord, if you're not, and again, I'm pointing to myself because this is for everyone, if you're not having a time where you are in God's presence, where you are getting poured into, then you're not full and you're giving from a place of like half of a tank. A lot of who we are called to be, we simply don't have it in and of ourselves to be that outside of God. We have to be plugged in to the vine. And the way that we do that is by being in his presence all the time. And if you're interested in seeing like what that looks like what does it look like when you say spend time with the Lord or devotion, just comment down below and let me know, and I'll do a video about that if there's interest in just like, what does that really look like? Because I will be honest, it doesn't look like hours and hours with like, you know, all of these theologian books and concordances. It doesn't look like that. And so there is a way to be a busy wife, a busy mom, and to be able to also maintain that time with the Lord. So at the end of all of that, what really made us also feel better and feel encouraged was that we weren't the only ones. And sometimes we don't talk about things because we feel like I'm the only one, I'm going to be judged, you know, look at me, people have expectations of me. And so we don't talk, and we suffer in this place of isolation and frustration with ourselves, because we're not really frustrated with our families or our husbands a lot of sometimes it's ourselves, and it's this internal thing. And so what I also lastly want to encourage you to do is to be vocal. Get with those people in your life who you can be transparent with, who will pray with you, who will talk to you, who will encourage you and say, girl, me too. And then when something sounds crazy, we'll also say, okay, now let's talk about this. Let's delve deeper, because we need that in our lives. We need people who will speak truth to us, but also like not judge us. And it's possible. And so I'm going to pray for whoever's watching this video that you get that little tribe. And it doesn't have to be like a huge tribe. It can be 2 or 3 or maybe even one person who you know. They'll pray with you. They'll tell you about yourself, but they'll also love you in spite of it all. When we stop being grateful, that is when we begin to look around at everything and think of how it can be improved. Look at it with disdain. You need to be grateful for where you are right now, wherever that is and whoever that is with. And don't look at changing circumstances. Don't look at change. Well, when I have a better house, when my husband says I love you 7 times a day, when my kids pick up after themselves. Don't wait for everybody else to change. Say, God, start with me. Start with me. And he is so faithful to do that. So I hope this encourages someone. I hope that you know that, yes, you're not the only one who goes a little cray sometimes unnecessarily, but also that you don't have to stay there. I'm not going to stay there. I pray that God will just continue to move in my heart, and I pray that he will do so for you as well. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more content like this, subscribe, hit the notification button so you know when I post, but also comment down below and let me know that I'm not the only one. I mean, I know I'm not the only one, and I know that maybe you don't want to put yourself out there, but who cares? The word is transparency. Amen? All right, have a great day. God bless you.